Let's talk about the overrated Southern Team of the Week. We'll just go long. What are we going to do? We're going to cut short telling the South to cram it? Why don't we? Overrated. There's so many to choose from. I'm actually going to do two, but we're going to start with Texas A&M. Why are they ranked? Here's why Texas A&M is overrated. And here's my point about all this. Sometimes what I would not suggest is that you take away from me ranting about a team's ranking being too high and have that mean that I don't like rankings or that I don't think rankings should exist. This is what people think. And so it's better to know it rather than not have these or not have preseason polls or not have anything. The context exists. We're just putting it on paper. So we can't let the SEC bias hide. We need to see the Southern lean of the sport. We need to know it exists because you can't tell someone to cram something if it doesn't exist. How deep is that? Texas A&M started the year 20th in both polls, lost to Notre Dame. Fell to 26th in the AP, 27th in the coaches. Beat McNeese 52-10. Now, McNeese has two losses. They lost to Texas A&M and Tarleton State. So, you lose, Tarleton State, they're just going to, who's going to underestimate Tarleton State? Certainly not me. So they blow out McNeese. They're 28th and 26th the next week. They beat Florida. Florida wants its coach fired. Florida was like, well, we lost to Texas A&M, fire Billy Napier. Last straw. Nobody in Florida was like, hey, Texas A&M, you lose to Texas A&M, what are you going to do? They're just a juggernaut. What a great loss that is, lose to Texas A&M. No. They rose to 25th and 24th. Then they beat Bowling Green 26-20. Bowling Green missed a 28-yard field goal with 2 minutes left in the third quarter that would have tied that game at 20. Bowling Green also threw a red zone interception in the last 2 minutes of that game. And that's how Texas A&M at home survived against Bowling Green and moved up in the rankings. Texas A&M had 166 total points in the AP and coaches poll before nearly losing to Bowling Green at home. Then they had 196 total points. Why is Texas A&M ranked? Indiana, who is 4-0, is not ranked. Boston College, who is 3-1 with a win over Michigan State, a win over Florida State, and a loss at Missouri, who's supposed to be a playoff team, they are not ranked. Nebraska, who's 3-1 with a win over Colorado and an overtime loss to a top 20 team, they are not ranked, but Texas A&M is ranked and everybody can cram it. That is ridiculous. So it is ridiculous that people, the world out there, thinks that about Texas A&M. Thank goodness that we know. You can't hide. You can't hide your Texas A&M bias. Texas A&M blows. Because guess what? Notre Dame beat Texas A&M and then lost to Northern Illinois. So we're going to even use a little bit of North logic here to show how terrible your top 25 team is. Texas A&M is bad at football, but also in the running for the overrated Southern Team of the Week. LSU is 14th. With 637 total votes in the two polls. Indiana is 27th with 63 total votes. They have almost 600 more points, LSU does, than Indiana. Both of them played UCLA. LSU was tied at the half with UCLA, 17-17. Indiana was ahead 21-7 at the half with UCLA, blew their doors off the whole game. Indiana also beat Florida International, Western Illinois, and Charlotte by a combined 100-point margin of victory. LSU lost to USC, beat Nichols, had a furious comeback to beat South Carolina, and then struggled with UCLA for a half. They're the number 14 team in the country. Give me Indiana right now against Brian Kelly. That's why Brian Kelly left Notre Dame. He was fleeing the Hoosiers. Overrated. This is the thing when you have a category like overrated Southern Team of the Week, you're never going to run out of teams to call overrated. I hate this stuff. I love it. I love calling it out. I hate that it's the norm. It's why we're here. You know it's the norm. They know it's the norm. LSU and Texas A&M being viewed as anything other than underachieving, bloated, wannabe blue bloods is a farce. makes me so mad. It makes me so mad. I don't know if this show's going to work, but this is why we are here. It angers me. Why are we? Let them prove it. Maybe they'll prove it. Maybe LSU and Texas A&M in November will prove that they're good. But my guess is that what happens is that they're going to lose to Bama and Georgia and Missouri and Ole Miss and Tennessee, and they're going to puff up those teams because they're perceived as being good when they never were. And Indiana might bite somebody this year, and it's going to be like, another Northern failure. Wrong. I hate it. And it's the way the sport is viewed. And I would challenge anybody from the South or from the national media to come defend that and tell me why this is wrong. Oh, Doug. No, that's a complete misperception, my friend. Come tell me. Because from here, it's rot and it's bloat. And it's overrating teams that are nothing more than average. Oh, man. I cannot wear a heavy quarter zip if I'm going to get this mad. This is on me. It's my bad. I apologize for the sweat.